Welcome everybody to the Sunday show. Arsenal Fan Circle here. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome. Or maybe not a lot of you will join us tonight because of that shit show that we just saw.
This is for Sunday shit show. Not for
The
Sunday
shit show. Listen, we had the warning. We had the warning, Lawrence, this morning. Liverpool fell.
Yeah.
At their hurdle. Arsenal had 7 to go, 7 hurdles to go. We've stumbled on this hurdle, Lawrence.
You know what? I had a gut feeling we were going to balls it up. I watched that Liverpool game, and I thought, wouldn't it be just typical of Arsenal to do likewise? And look what happened.
Yeah, look what happened. It was one of those games where in football, if you don't take your chances, Lawrence, they're going to come back and hurt you in the end. And in that first half, we didn't have many chances, but Trossard.
Yeah, they should have buried that. But in saying that, give Villa credit, they deserved it. But they took their chances. They also hit the woodwork twice, They snuffed out Odegaard. Odegaard did absolutely nothing in the second half. Full credit to them.
Yeah, I hate to say it, full credit to them, but every football game is about earning the right to play football first of all. And Aston Villa came to the Emirates and were physical and defended really well, even without Douglas Luiz in midfield, who got suspended last weekend. They were buoyed by that Tottenham defeat up at Newcastle. And Arsenal came out of the traps pretty quick, and we said about them, but we never really created, Tony, too many clear-cut chances.
No, if you were watching the game, you would think that Villa was the one fighting for the league title, not Arsenal.
Yeah.
Lots of diving to try to get the tackles, just out there putting your body on the line. You could tell the players wanted Unai to get a win because Arsenal never treated him right, never supported him. So the players went out there, did their job. One of the players was somebody you always wanted, Tillmans. He was available for a free this summer. I still think he gives you more than Kai does. And speaking of Kai, he was a headless chicken this game because he was all over the pitch.
Yeah, we had a lot of them. We had a few headless chickens today, that's for sure. Let's welcome the people who have joined us today. Reddy's in the house. Evening, not a good one apparently. And we'll get into the tinkering. At this tinkering with the starting 11 has cost us today. Why change a winning combination from Brighton away when we beat Brighton? Hola, damn, no finish and punished by Emery again. Revenge of Unai Emery, if you want to call it that. If you're feeling down, just think to yourself, Bayern bought 2 Spurs players to try and make the league more sporting. They lost. They lost Xhaka. So I'm assuming Bayer Leverkusen have won today, and Granit Xhaka has secured the Bundesliga in Germany. But Tony, we had seven hurdles to go, and Man City. Each of the games were at home. Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. We had the last to go. Man City got that 5-1 win against Luton Town, and it was incumbent on Liverpool and Arsenal to keep step with Man City today.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think Liverpool, the players know that Klopp is on his way out. 6 more games of Klopp, then he's gone. It seems like they really kind of stopped playing. A lot of them trying to figure out if they're going to stay, if they're going to go to another team, what they're going to do. And if you're Liverpool, you probably try to go for a coach that played Arsenal today because he's a good coach.
It looks like they're after Amorim from Sporting Lisbon right now. So Portuguese coach. Brady still thinks we can win in Munich. And I think we put a lot of energy probably into that Champions League game. And rivals are looking at us, Lawrence. Rival fans and rival teams are looking at us and saying, we've got a Champions League campaign to try to conduct in between a Premier League title.
Yeah.
And
yes,
we found wanting a little bit today in terms of energy.
Yeah, it's obvious we looked knackered from the other day. Too many players looked lethargic. There was no end product. We created absolutely nothing in the second half. Our defending was so poor; it was unbelievable. I mean, the first goal. What the hell was our defense doing? I mean, there were three players ball watching and let that ball go right across the face of goal.
Yeah.
And for the second goal, just naivety. I mean, at first I thought the second goal was offside, but the replay showed that Watkins started his run from inside his own half.
Yes.
But even so, unbelievable schoolboy defending.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to have the best defense in the league.
Yeah. Defending this felt like Tony. This felt like last season against Brighton, playing at home. We didn't turn up against Brighton at home last season, and around about the same time of the year, Aston Villa come, and it was pretty even contest for most of the game. And you're hoping, as an Arsenal fan, that we're just going to get that breakthrough that maybe Trossard didn't give us in the first half, and the sucker punch comes in about the 78 minutes, something like that. Yeah, 84th minute actually. It was that late.
Yeah,
84.
Yeah, you're sitting here 3 years running. We start falling apart in March. Everything to play for, everything in our hands, but we let it slip away. Had fourth in our hand. We actually had it in our hand twice. First last year, first this year. So I think a lot of that's on the manager. You definitely seen the manager because you've seen Arsenal play with no pass and no hunger, nothing at all in that second half. You've seen Odegaard playing in the first half, non-existent in the second. That's why he's one of the first players out there. But it just, you didn't see that fight. Like, if you look over there, you look at Villa, they were fighting. Every single player was, especially Tielemans, you had Watkins. I mean, they were doing everything they're supposed to do.
Tony brought up a good point. He said that Villa played Thursday and we had 4 days off. Yet we looked like the team that played Thursday, and Villa were the team that looked like they had a rest.
Yep.
I mean, it was such a flat performance. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, Reddy said, despite the good work but done by Arteta over the last 3 years, we still lack that killer instinct mentality. It's in your hands. You've seen what happened to Liverpool this morning. If you don't take care of business and, let a team in at the back, you're going to lose a game like this. Absolutely disgusting performance, says Hawkwind. Thank you for joining us, though. Yeah, absolutely disgusting performance from Arsenal. Tony, you've talked about Tielemans in relation to Havertz, and I think Havertz has played very well this season when put in the correct position. But today, first and foremost, we're going to talk about midfield. We got Declan Rice, we got Odegaard, and we got Havertz in there as that left 8. And
he really was up a left 8. He was freaking everywhere, right?
We've seen for most of this season, Tony, that Havertz has not prospered in midfield so much.
No, you even seen him back there behind Zinchenko at points covering back there, but like you said, he doesn't work in our midfield. He just doesn't fit in there. And like I said, you spend 68 million on Kai to be a midfielder, and you got Tielemans on a free. Tillmans can play attacking midfield, central midfield, or defensive midfield. Kai's not a midfielder at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it hasn't worked for him in that midfield position, Lawrence. Kai Havertz, for me, he's better doing damage in the box, being a number 9, being a number 10.
Well,
complementing the forwards.
He didn't do much damage today. He had several opportunities in the first half. And he failed each time, you know. I mean, I'm still not a fan of his. I'm going to be blunt, you know. I know he's had a purple patch recently, but he doesn't fill me with confidence, and I don't think he's the answer to our striking issues.
Yeah. Why, Tony? Why not go with Jorginho or Partey in that midfield over Havertz?
That's what I don't understand. You've played Jorginho about 6 games in a row, hasn't put his foot wrong, and you can go back to the back. You can say that Zinchenko comes in, and Kivior hasn't done anything wrong. So you're not rewarding these players for putting in their hard work or whatever when you just, like I said, I was making the old Thursday. You got the crayons, but you only might like 3 or 4 colors, and you never let anybody else color with those colors.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, what's your favorite
You want a yellow
color?
sun? It ends up being blue because Ray's holding on to that yellow crayon, not letting anybody. And that's perfectly what Arteta is. Arteta has his pets.
Yeah.
It's never going to change.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me why Kai Havertz should be starting over Jorginho or Zinchenko starting over Tomiyasu or Kivior. And I thought that was a really weird choice. Why the fuck did Tomiyasu come on for White? That made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, during this game, I had Tony's words echoing in my mind, you know, looking at Zinchenko, looking at Gabriel Jesus. And I don't think it's lazy to say that these players, the loyalty to these players might be hurting us going forward. Gabriel Jesus can be an impact player, but to start with him, and welcome Stan, start with Zinchenko at the back, and start with Gabriel Jesus up front. And for me today, it's midfield, putting Kai Havertz back there in midfield when you have Jorginho and you have Partey in midfield. So Stan, I'll bring you in now. And as Nigel says, wow, didn't predict those 2 scores. Both, if I was to tell you both Liverpool and Arsenal played today and neither one of them would score a goal, Stan, you would not have believed that.
No. First thing that I would say, though, is, you know, well done to Aston Villa and Unai Emery. Got to give credit where credit's due. I thought they played a very good game of football. Can't argue with the way that they won that. I mean, the difference between the teams in our team in the first half and the second half, I don't know what happened in the second half. It was like the team in the first half just disappeared, sent out some clones. It was a very different in the second half. But I mean, you know, Aston Villa, they had 2 chances, 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. And by the end of that game, we were looking like the away team. You know, Aston Villa were looking like the home team towards the end of that game. So, I mean, I'm, as much as I applaud Aston Villa, I'm very annoyed at Arsenal. Very, very annoyed at Arsenal. I mean, more so, obviously, I'm sure that you've already mentioned that, you know, we had such an opportunity, a golden opportunity to go back 2 points ahead with, you know, Liverpool gifting us early on in the day and showing us their result. I mean, what sort of more motivation do you need to take your opportunities? So very disappointing, but I can see where the problem lies, and I'm sure that we'll talk about that as we move on.
Yeah, definitely, and welcome Gary as well. We have seen today an imprint or what do you call a blueprint of what not to do. Liverpool showed us the way this morning in terms of things to not happen to you, but it went ahead and happened. And Tiger and Gunnar, congratulations, City. All I'm going to say right now is with 6 games to go in the season, it is in their hands, but there's a lot can happen, and I'm not ready to roll out the white flag yet and stick it out of my trench just yet. Arsenal have to show us a reaction now. 6 games to go in the league, and we need to win each and every one of them for 89 points. And at the end of the day, I believe City will drop some points, and you have to believe. You can't give them. You cannot give them any more leeway.
But right.
Yes, Lawrence.
Right. This is going. I believe this is going to come down to goal difference, and what happened today has given it advantage to Man City. This is what I was saying last week when we beat Luton 2-0, and everyone was happy with that. What happened when Luton played Man City yesterday? We had a great opportunity to boost our goal difference against Luton, and we treated that game like a pre-season friendly or an end-of-season testimonial game.
Okay, fair. And where we have boosted our squad numbers to 14 or 15, we still need more help from the sidelines, more substitutes coming in and doing a job. But I'll give Gary a chance to get in here. Roll Me One Kenobi said, "Mad day of football, guys. I needed a cold shower after that madness, for real." Gary, initial thoughts on that today?
Well, I did listen to Arteta talk, and basically he said that first half is where he's saying that was one of the reasons why we didn't get any goals in that first half, and I think that was probably the most opportune time for us. And I think the subs in the second half basically killed it for us. Any chance we had for us to get it back. But not being clinical in that first half. Defense was leaky all day. We saw the dumb mistake from Gabriel hitting Zinchenko. I mean, setting up Ollie Watkins. They hit the post twice today. Actually, they hit the post 3 times. Once on one shot, they hit it twice.
Yeah,
but
double dink.
But we got lucky with that, and that didn't spur the team on. Didn't really spur Arteta on to maybe solidify that back, because defensively we needed to be a lot more stronger. Douglas Luiz being out, did we take advantage of that?
No.
Nope. So once again, Arteta gets an advantage to take advantage of a game, maybe because of a player being out, and we don't seem to be able to take advantage. We don't feel we took control enough to put ourselves in a position to where, yes, we get that goal. So, it was just a matter of time based on the way that second half went. For me, just sitting there talking about it during the watch lines, it's like, and they get another corner, and they get another corner, and they get another corner. I mean, it was constant.
Yeah.
I think they had, they swung the possession percentage to their favor, and that can't happen at the Emirates if we're going to want to win. So, I just, here's the thing: we pulled 4 players that are going to be crucial to us in a game in Germany. They just sat there and watched their team basically collapse as they lost. Is that mentally going to be an issue for them going in? So I kind of feel like, did himself a little disservice there with the way the subs worked out, because the team was able to hold on, and players that we haven't really seen him trust in previous games and previous parts of this season were asked to come in there and do things they have never been asked to do. Like ESR was kind of, I think, put in a lose-lose situation there.
Yep.
And Kedia coming on for Zinchenko was basically the biggest, gut punch you could get for me.
Yeah, it's bad when Nketiah is getting on.
It wasn't the Nketiah coming off; it's the fact that Zinchenko went off when I would have liked to have seen somebody else maybe come on earlier. Not necessarily Zinchenko's fault, but I just felt like we needed to solidify the back a lot more than we had.
Those substitutions should have been made at the start of the second half, not 15, 20 minutes. You know, you could see what the problem was. And yet again, Arteta, with his bad man management skills, by leaving the substitutions too late. And no one has seemed to mention, again, Trossard, ineffective over 90 minutes. I don't remember him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had
Stan's
words ringing in my mind.
It's not that we haven't mentioned it yet. We're only 20 minutes in.
You've mentioned it. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, but I mean, I've texted people after the game, right, who went to the game, and no one seems to have mentioned like what the ineffectiveness Trossard had over 90 minutes today. He had that chance just before half time to give us the lead, which he should have buried. But apart from that, what else did he do?
No, he was. I mean, I can't think of very many chances that we had, and Trossard was a gilt-edged chance. Really said complacency and arrogant fan base, and Tiger and Gunnar said City aren't dropping many points or losing games. That's it. That's it right there. City are not going to drop many points or losing games. So if we're going to do anything in this league, get more points than we did last season, or if we're going to have a few L's going into this run-in, we've got one right now. We cannot have another one. And if City are not going to drop points, then we need to be perfect going forward. And this felt like, Stan, a win that we needed to have and not a loss.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking to myself, okay, we're probably going to drop 2 points here. We walk away with a point.
Yeah.
I would have, and then when it became clear that we were actually going to drop all 3 points, I was gobsmacked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we only have ourselves to blame. You know, we only have ourselves to blame for today. That's the thing. That's you know, and we can all see where the problems are as well. You know, what we're missing, what we don't have.
It's a pity Arteta doesn't see them.
Why have we gone back? When Zinchenko's fit again, why have we gone back to Zinchenko again?
I just told you, Arteta likes his crayons.
Yeah, I know.
We have this all of the time, though, don't we? Why is it that we have these players that they come out of the team, whether it's for injury or rotation, like a Zinchenko, like Gabriel Jesus, Trossard, and then when they come off the bench and they look okay, and the manager gives them a start, why do they never pay him back? Why do they never force it so that the manager thinks, okay, now what we're going to do, because this guy is cementing his place in this position.
Yeah,
those others are going to have to wait. And I think this is the problem, especially for Martinelli on the left. We need to have a top-notch person that can play on the left, who's up there with a similar caliber as Saka. Because I don't think that Martinelli is quite there yet. Martinelli needs more competition. He needs someone that he can learn off, and someone that he can rotate with, and someone that can be not a backup for Martinelli, but competition.
Yeah.
But
we need like a Mark Overmars type signing.
If you look at our front three, right, you take off the left side and the person in the middle. That's where that's what we're missing. You can plug and play any of the players that play on the left side or through the middle from Liverpool or Man City, and you plug them into this current Arsenal team. We're winning the league.
Stan,
but we don't have anything assured in those areas. Going through the middle, there's still doubts, isn't there? Because if there wasn't any doubts, he would have. Why would he not stick with Havertz? He decided to bring Jesus back in there. And did Jesus have any goal involvements? No. Did he pay the manager back? Did he give him something to think about? No.
Stan,
but like
do we really need to look at City or Liverpool? Can you just look at Villa and what Watkins does? He can play on the middle. He can play either wing. Right now, up to 17 goals or whatever he's up to. I mean, he's a perfect example of a type of player we need.
Yeah. But like Tony said, is we had the opportunity to get Tielemans on a free transfer last summer. But for some reason, Mikel Arteta decided against that to bring in Kai Havertz for 68 million.
You think the difference today was Tielemans?
Oh yeah.
You think if we had Tielemans, we would have won?
I think the difference today, and you may be keyed in on this, Gary, in your opening statement. The key is Douglas Luiz was out today, and we didn't choose to bump up our midfield options.
Yeah. Well, when you have Partey sitting there, at least Partey should have got minutes today.
And Jorginho.
Jorginho should have got more minutes today. Like their weakness was in the midfield. It was given to you on a platter.
Yep.
Make sure you can control the midfield. Make sure it's such an advantage for you that it doesn't. No matter what, it doesn't matter if they have Ollie Watkins. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
We couldn't take advantage of Douglas Luiz being out. Just like last week, we couldn't take advantage of Dyer on the back line. Right? Arteta never takes advantage of, if there's a weakness on the other side, never takes advantage of it. Right? We basically just it's like, what's the point? Right? So, he didn't do a good job in that situation. Didn't set us up good in the midfield. I think whatever growth he's got out of Kiwior, he just killed it. In this basically his last 2 or 3 weeks here. Whatever he's built up in him, like, is he going to give us up? Is he going to be able to come in? You expect him to start in Germany? Anybody expect Kiwior to start in Germany? I don't. He's not going to be prepared. He hasn't played. So now Arteta's going to have to put in Zinchenko or Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu. Yeah, I think it'll be Tomiyasu on the left in Germany.
You really think that, Ray? Knowing what Arteta does, you think he's going to do that?
Yeah, I think today's defeat is yet again a clear confirmation that playing Zinchenko at the left back is a liability. And whilst he was not on the field, when we lost the goals, he was a big part of the reason why we probably didn't build anything.
Ray, we've seen this last year.
Yeah,
he's not a left. He's not a left back. He's a left back or a midfielder. He's not. And Arteta keeps doing it. You have Kiwior that made no mistakes, no reason getting dropped. You see Tomiyasu come in, but he comes in for White. Why? Fuck if I know.
Well, he came in for White because White has had a lot of minutes this season. Now, was it the right thing to do for this game? Probably not.
Well, all right, you got 6 games left at this point. You might as well go show your intestinal fortitude, play balls out. You have 6 games left. Then you can fucking rest. At this point, it doesn't matter.
White came off in the 67th minute for Tomiyasu, and I'm not sure where Tomiyasu was. Well, this was left back, so Zinchenko had gone missing for the goal, right? It's just so. Look. We've had many good days following the Arsenal, and we know this season that Man City have dropped a lot of points. Now we dropped a lot of points as well, and to be relevant in April, we needed to win all of those games that we won. But we didn't take care of business today. We didn't have the energy. We didn't. And when you don't have the energy, sometimes you can amble through a game, but you have to take the opportunity that's presented to you when it comes to you. And I'm sorry, the only clear-cut chance we made all day long was Trossard.
Ray, how's this for a conspiracy? I'm into all that shit.
Yeah.
But this year is going to be the 35th anniversary of when we won the league at Anfield, and we won it on goal difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was 86
and 89 points. So but
I think it was 86. But anyway,
1989.
We won it on goal. Yeah, all right. 1989. Yeah. Sorry. So
that's my significance.
Yeah, well, as I said, we won it because we scored more goals than Liverpool. Goal difference was the same. Points were the same.
Yep.
But we won because we scored more goals. And I think that's what's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
I'm feeling deja vu here. Because right now I feel the same way like we did at the end of that season when we lost at home to Derby and then got points against Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel that's what's going to happen again this year.
It does. I hope you're right, Lawrence, but it does mean we've got to go. Forget about Munich. Well, whatever happens in Germany happens.
You know what? You can't do that. No. See, this is the problem.
In the league, we're talking about the league. Just the league.
No. Yes. Come on, Ray. You cannot do that. You cannot take games off.
We're talking about a league right now.
No.
I'm not saying take the game off.
No, you just said.
We're not getting 3 points for beating Bayern. We're not going to get 3 points in the Premier League.
You're already looking forward to the Wolves match. No, you just brought up the Wolves match, so you're already looking past the Bayern.
Can I tell you what I was saying?
That's what you just said. I heard every word.
I was going to say?
No, you can change it now if you want to, but it's too late. The first words out of your mouth were, "Let's look at the Wolves match." I'm like, no.
Hold on a second, Tony. Hold on a second. There's too much of Gary coming at me, and I'm not able to come back at him. So, Gary, if you give me a second to explain what I was saying, we are talking about a Premier League title right now. We're not talking about a Champions League, Gary. Okay? So, when we go to Wolves, these are the games we have to win. Lawrence just said we need to be perfect in goal difference. We're going to win this in goal difference. To do this, we have to win 6 games in the league. You don't get 3 points in Germany for winning in the Premier League. It's the Champions League. Okay? You play Wolves. Then you play Chelsea. Then you play Tottenham. Bournemouth, Man United, and Everton. It's 6 games that we have to win now, Gary. And I fully accept we can't take our foot off the gas here. And we have to go to Germany. And we have to win there as well. But we have to win out now, Gary. You know, we can't take our foot off the gas. Sorry, I just had to get that in as a retort. Gary, I love you. Well, it's Premier League points that we got to get now after this.
No, we have to win the next match.
Yes.
The most important match is the next one. I don't care about Wolves right now because guess what happens? We overlook the next match. What happens? We lose 2 in a row. We go into that Wolves match having lost 2 in a row. And guess what?
Yeah.
That's not good either. We have to stop the rut immediately, right?
Yeah.
It cannot happen in the next match. Whatever just happened, it's gone from our memories, right?
And
so the only way that can happen, is we go out there and we play. It does. Yes, it's in Germany. Everything is stacked against us. Like you said, when we went into that Liverpool match, was everything stacked against us there? Yes. No different than this time. Is there a trophy on the line? In the future, yes, but you can't get to that point unless you win the next one. So how about we win the next one and then see how it goes? So for me, it's important that we come out and we play some proper football. If we look to the Wolves match, guess what? We'll go into that one, and we could go into it on a bad streak of games. All right?
Yeah.
With not having one in in 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah.
Not good.
Wouldn't
not
be
good when you're trying to close out a season. You know what I mean? So for me, no, we have to take a look at what we just did and find our best 11. I don't know if he had his best 11 out there for this particular match.
No.
So for me, he needs to figure out what that is, and it doesn't have to be, well, you started all 100 games before this. You've got to start this one. You might not be the best. So so for me, no, it's not.
Gary,
I can't be looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to the Wolves match just yet.
I know. And maybe a change of scenery in Germany and a change of competition will help us as well. Tony, go ahead.
Ray.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 4 games to win something or 6 games to win something against a City team that hasn't lost in 27 games? Your best odds is winning the Champions League. It's not winning the league.
when you look at it, it's a Bayern game. It's maybe 2 Man City games and a final. Yeah, but they are going to be 3 of the best teams in in Europe that we have to overcome. Steven said we missed so many opportunities in the first 20 minutes, but Villa should have been leading at halftime. But the second half, he bottled it. But Tony, to your point, I was thinking we're playing teams like Villa, Manchester United, Tottenham, which, all due respect, they're a level down from a Bayern, City, and Barcelona.
Yeah, but those games are always toss-up games. You never know who's going to win. And us versus the Spurs, it's always toss-up. Same with United. It's always a toss-up. It doesn't matter if a team's in second place or 8th place. It's a toss-up game. Always is. Always will be.
Right. Brownie said.
So we have 3 very tough games in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
right now looks like we have 6 very tough games in the league.
Every game is going to be tough for us from here on out, because guess what? We've never done this before, so there's no game that we can say, well, all right, we got a blip here, it's all right. This is a big game, and I said going into this, Villa has something to play for, right? They're sitting 4th in the league right now. A draw helps them. They don't even have to do anything if they don't score and they get a draw. They sit 1 point ahead of that team. Now with the win, now they're sitting 2 points ahead, right?
Yeah.
So how we not done this before, Gary?
And also, Man City don't play a Premier League game until next Thursday when they play Brighton, because they've got the FA Cup next weekend,
Champions League,
and the Champions League. So they're not gonna. Their next Premier League game is at Brighton, who are no mugs. I mean, I'll put money on Brighton to take a couple of points take a point off Man City. So it could all change.
They have. I know they're Man City, but they have a couple of tricky games. Nottingham Forest away from home. They played us tight. They played Liverpool tight. Liverpool nearly drew there. Fulham away from
got
home.
the easiest schedule, Ray. Come on.
Fulham away from home.
There's no such thing as an easy schedule.
With 6
Anyone
games
that tells, there's no such thing as an easy schedule, because look what happened today. Everyone said Liverpool had the easiest schedule. Yeah. Now it's Man City have got the easy schedule. There's no such thing as an easy schedule. Any team in the Premier League can beat any other Premier League team on their day.
Yeah.
And I can tell you there's going to be more twists and turns this season. So don't write us off. I'm not writing us off. We've made it harder for ourselves. We can't afford to drop any more points. But I can guarantee you there's going to be more twists and turns in this in the final weeks of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Stan, this is the point where the fan base will be tested, Stan, at this point. So and that's just how you view things, how you view football. If you're a fan who believes that's it's all over, I still have to respect your opinion. But my opinion is we need to play these 6 games. It's like golf. The U.S. Masters is going on right now. The guy's got an easy putt, but you're not going to concede the hole to him. You have to make him putt. Right, Stan?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely still in it, but I do think it's going to be down to the team that drops the least points and has slip-ups. And I think that we are very vulnerable to this in this running. I don't think these are the first points that we're going to lose. I also think as well that some of a couple of those other teams there, especially Man City, they just have a little bit more to draw from as well. As I mentioned before, the difference is, for example, our £100+ million player, Declan Rice, we have to start him in every game. That's how important he is. Whereas Man City's a £100 million player, in Grealish, for example, they can afford to have him on the bench. There's a very difference in the way that we operate and the levels that we're operating at. And I think Brownie said something quite earlier. He said that everybody knows that Arsenal was only one transfer window away from really being able to win the Premier League. And although we're going to be there or thereabouts, and we will definitely not make it easy for our competitors, I'm inclined to agree with him that I think that there is still just a couple of pieces that need to be done to really ensure that we are to get over the line to win the league. And I'm just not sure that we've got it this season. However, it's still open. Still very, very close.
Yeah, well, we have to definitely galvanize ourselves from this defeat now and go again. And people talk about we need another trip to Dubai. Roll Me One Kenobi said people laughed at me when I said Emery had the minerals. The man took a Villa team that was wrecked by Gerrard and made them Champions League bound. And yeah, he's definitely turned Villa around into a team who are very competitive. I know Tony's dying to jump in here. Tony, go ahead.
Of course I am. You see what happens when the man has proper support. We have to go through, for some reason, this fucking 5-6 year process. Well, why can Unai do it in a second season with a lot less resources? But the problem is Arteta. He made no alterations at halftime. He did what exactly I told you he was going to do. He was a dig back into the Jesus and Zinchenko playbook, and guess what's happened?
Yeah.
And guess what happens to our defense?
I have to agree with you.
What happens when Zinchenko comes in? Oh, we start letting goals in. What happens when you put Jesus in there? Our goals go down. We're scoring 4 or 5 goals a game with Jesus out. We were keeping clean sheets, and now it's all reversed because the manager fancies 2 players. He's always had his favorites. You can name every season who his 4 or 5 favorites are, and it's going to cost us again.
Yeah.
When we sold Kieran Tierney, I was quite disappointed because I like Kieran Tierney, but I could understand why. And a lot of people, one of the reasons that they cited that it was time to move him on was that they felt that the way that we were progressing as a team, that they felt that we kind of outgrown a player who offers what Kieran Tierney was able to offer us. Well, I think then if that is such a thing, and that can be the case, then I would be inclined to say that the same thing would now apply to Gabriel Jesus and perhaps Alexander Zinchenko, because they seem to offer very little in way of the jobs that they're supposed to do. One doesn't really offer anything in the way of defending and leaves us vulnerable and open. And I know it's a high risk, high reward, but for what he's given us for joyriding off into the midfield, seems to be outweighed by the damage that's being done on that left side. And then Gabriel Jesus, as nimble and quick-footed as he is, as we saw in that last game where he created a goal by his nimble footwork, he's not really giving us a lot for someone that's occupying that position by ways of actual goals, right? And he seems to be able to get himself into positions to have chances. That's the thing. He seems to do a lot of industrious hustle and bustle for the team, which is good. And he's also able to get himself into the penalty box, into some very good scoring opportunities, whether it's with his feet or his head. And what happens when he gets those chances? He seems to squander them.
Yeah.
8 times out of 10, he's going to squander that opportunity. And that's what needs to be missing. If he had that part of his game, he'd be a world beater, because he does so much more than just be in the penalty box. But he squanders those opportunities.
Yeah. I thought that we would struggle to score 30 minutes into the game today. We're relying on Bukayo Saka. We didn't have Martinelli on the field, Trossard and Jesus up front, and we've taken another threat away from the box, albeit from the deep, in Kai Havertz playing in midfield, and Zinchenko at the back again. We've gone back to this. I can't disagree with anything Tony has said. We've gone back to Jesus and Zinchenko as the mainstays in those positions. And I think the issue with Arsenal Football Club right now is we've not nailed down those two positions in terms of who actually starts there consistently throughout the season. Who's going to be our number 9 and who's going to be our number 3 moving forward?
I thought we had the number 3 nailed down. Kivior did fine all season.
Yeah, but we don't pick the team again. And unfortunately, Mikel Arteta's gone back to Zinchenko, and we're leaking goals.
But again, if we put out a back four of Kivior, Gabriel Megalegs, Saliba, and Ben White, we're basically putting out a back four of central defenders. Because as well as Ben White may be doing in that position, he is at heart a central defender. And this model seems to be something that's, again, seems to be, you know, stuff seems to come leaking out of the house of Man City, and everyone seems to then start to do it. I really want us to have fullbacks that are used to playing in that position, that they know how to be defensive in those areas, but can also work with the winger, the person in front of them, cause overlaps, cause underlaps, sometimes find themselves crossing the ball into the box. Because that's what we've got going on, right? Because Tommy Asu as well is mainly a centre-back too, right?
Yeah, hybrid right back, centre-back.
Same with Yuri and Timber.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, BX said all of
it. I can get it for maybe one of the sides, but we're doing it on both sides now, and it does worry me. As well as Kivior has looked in some games, he's also looked vulnerable in other games because he's still not mastered that position, because that's not the position that he usually plays. He's a left-footed centre-back.
But Stan, isn't a part of this problem is that we have a whole team full of these utility players, but nobody just good in their position minus Saka. I mean, everybody else can play 3 or 4 different things, but they're just not just an out and out, like you said, fullback. Out and out.
I hear you saying, Tony, but it does seem to be the way that football is going at the moment. Not even just with Arsenal, it appears to. You look at it, other teams seem to be doing similar things as well.
But you got Gabriel. You got Saliba,
you mentioned Saka, right? But you mentioned Saka. But for example, Saka started off on the left side of the team. Then would imply that if you're playing him on the left side of the team and he's left-footed, his job invariably was to get up to the byline and use his left foot to be crossing the ball in, rather than cutting in on his weaker foot, which would have been his right. Now we've got him playing on the right because it seems now that wingers don't play byline games, do they? Wingers are usually, your left-footed person's on the right, your right-footed winger is on the left, and they like to cut in, get in behind or cut in, come onto their stronger foot, coming into the dangerous areas. Just seems to be the way of the world, right? Sometimes I would like to see us switch it around a bit, though. Catch them off guard, you know? Switch it over and have somebody, maybe crossing the ball and trying something a bit different.
No, we had many across today, nobody home. Many across today, nobody home. And
I thought
Jesus, you name it, any one of our players that should have been in that middle of the area there, never there. I think we set ourselves up enough to get the goals we needed, and I mean a lot of that happened in the first half. So that's the problem. And yes, if we had, I think putting Havertz into the midfield once again is a no-no for Arteta, unacceptable. That's really not. He cannot play there. We don't gain anything from him playing there. Yeah. Not a thing. I think that's it starts there. Zinchenko, as bad as we were defensively today, Zinchenko for me didn't really hurt us defensively. But if he's gonna play offensively, we need better. Or else what's the point? What's the point? Right?
Rohan said, no Zenny for the rest of the season, please. I hope Mikel Arteta's taking note of that. Russ Morgan said we won 6 and drew 1 with Kivior at left back. Zinchenko loses the ball at every opportunity. I can see why City sold him now. Gary, there seemed to be the thing I was looking for today was to lose that nervousness we had in the first half against Bayern, but we seem to carry that nervous feeling into this game against Aston Villa?
I don't know. It
Mistakes
did
were being
seem like
made.
it. Like to me, we just need to be as we have all season a lot more clinical, in that area of the pitch. I mean, we got opportunities, right? So I don't. It's just they weren't able to put the finishing touches on any of it. So for me, I think we got the chances we need. We just didn't have people there, or people weren't able to push that ball, past the goalkeeper when we had the opportunities. So I think that was it. I mean, it got like for me, the sense of urgency was not there when opportunities come up. Like the couple opportunities that Villa had should have woken us up to like, guess what? We need to do something different here because they are getting close to scoring a goal here. And as a team, didn't look like it. It didn't look like we had. Well, you know what? That was close. Let's go ahead and get this goal. We do what we know what we need to do, and sense of urgency wasn't there. It didn't happen, right? So for me, we still don't have. Keep talking about this mentality that we need. We still don't have that mentality to go in to where we could be struggling. We still get that goal. That didn't happen today. And
that mentality, it should have been there from the players today. They've just watched Liverpool drop 3 points.
That mentality, that right there is something we don't have. We don't respond to things like that. Like Liverpool dropped the ball and gave everybody an opportunity to take the lead with control once again on their side, right?
Yeah,
that would have given a lot of teams even more control. We need as much control as possible in terms of points ahead of teams, and that didn't happen. Today we did not. We don't. I don't think we respond to those types of things, much less just the occasion as it is. Right? You're playing a top 4 team at home.
Opportunity.
You're supposed to win those games. It doesn't matter what's on the line.
These are the games that count in a title race, and we're going to look back at April 14th probably and say this was the day. But these are the days that count, where you stand up and say, "I am taking 3 points from Aston Villa today." On our home ground as well. Rohan said the lineup was okay. I don't think the lineup was. It was just okay, Rohan. I don't think it was the perfect lineup that we could have put out. We could have played an actual defender, a left back. We could have played a midfielder in midfield, and we could have played a tall striker, number 9 at number 9. And we continue to rotate at the detriment of a result in this game. And we didn't treat. Talk about Liverpool not treating Atalanta with respect. We didn't treat Aston Villa with respect in this league. Lawrence?
I'm just saying it's just typical of Arsenal to fuck things up when it really matters. I've been following Arsenal, I think I've told you this, for 55 years. And every time they've had an opportunity to make a statement after a game, they fuck it up. I brought up when we almost fucked the league up in '89 when we lost at home to Derby on the last day of the season and then drew with Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And then we had to wait 2 weeks because Liverpool had to, because of the Hillsborough tragedy, had a backlog of fixtures that they had to clear up before they played us, and we had to win that game by 2 goals to win the league that year. But it's just typical of Arsenal. We do not grasp the opportunity when it's in our hands.
Yeah. Spencer says Zinchenko was playing right back on the first goal. I think Tomiyasu came on for Ben White. Zinchenko was playing left back. But Raya did horrible on that first goal. It's a leave. I mean, the defenders didn't deal with the ball. We put another ball goes into an area of uncertainty and nobody deals with it, and the ball comes by. Declan Rice not covering on the back post either, with another thing he'll be kicking himself about. Munich is what matters next. Gary is right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, on that goal, and I've been. I guess I'm a friend of Raya, but he did whiff at that ball, and he can't do that. He comes out like that. He's got to go.
He's waiting for that attacker to get a touch.
The goalkeeper comes off his line.
He wasn't
like
off
that.
his line.
He was well off his line, coming off to get that ball.
2 yards. 2 yards off his line. The
He's
ball
off
came
his
across.
line. That put him out of position for the ball that then was scored, right? Because he's so far off his line that the whole rest of the goal is wide open, right? If he come off his line like that, he has to get that ball. He has to make himself big. He swipes at it, right? He whiffs, misses it. It ends up on the other side, and now you've got Declan Rice there with a attacker with an entire goal to look at. All right, and they score.
Gary,
so I hear you. Like I'm a friend of Rhea, like I said, but he has to make that play. I say it all the time. Guess what? If you're gonna come out like that, you have to make that play. That's why
one of those.
That's what goalkeepers have to do.
Yeah.
Like when the defense in front of you, doesn't do their job, that's when we hit the red. We grab the red phone and make a call to our goalkeeper and say, you're gonna have to clean this up because we made a mess in front of you, which is what was happening in that whole second half. In that whole second half, we were playing defense for our lives.
Corners,
right?
Corners. Yeah.
So they were on us the entire time. That's why the subs made no sense. We're hard pressed to manage that game out the way we had it, and we're taking off all of our best players and trying to say, you guys coming off the bench, can you do it for us? When we're not able to control the situation, in my eyes. So he made a mistake, like I said. He made a mistake, like I said, on when he swiped at that ball, and then there was nobody there to protect that goal.
Right.
So if he comes out like that,
Gary,
he has to get it.
We'll go Lawrence first. Lawrence first, then
yeah,
Tony.
Gary. Ramsdale would have stopped that.
All right, Tony.
You know what? Ramsdale would have stopped that, but guess what? Ramsdale wouldn't have had us in the quarterfinals. Ramsdale wouldn't have had us in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So take your pick, which one you want. They are not perfect. Both
playing
of them.
Bayern.
Playing
Bayern. So, Bayern will be like a wounded animal on Wednesday. Tony,
how the fuck can you blame Raya when four defenders were in the wrong positions or on the wrong side? You had Gabriel that was on the right side. You had nobody covering for him over there on the left. So how do you sit there and blame Raya for the goal when four other people fucked up?
This is no different than what we saw in the Bayern Munich game. When Gabriel looked and saw Raya well off his line in a terrible position, and then he took a high-risk pass when all he had to do was just kick that thing out, because at that point, guess what? Your goalkeeper has screwed you. You have no outlet. The ball is at your feet. If you just kick it out, reset, you're fine. So this is the same thing. Raya knows, and just like you said, he knows where all of his defenders are. They've left that back post well wide open. A cross comes in. There's barely going to be anybody there. So he has to make a decision. Either I come off my line and clear that ball, right? Or I sit back and hope my defense does a good job in front of me and I catch whatever strays come out, right? So he made a decision to go get it, right? He has to get it. He has no choice. He has to get it. Go through his own man. It doesn't really matter for me, but he didn't do that. So he that's where he made a mistake. But like I said, the entire second half, our defense was terrible. The entire second half, we were basically just trying our hardest not to give up that goal, and then we did the bubble burst in that like 84th.
The fan base already failed, says Spencer. They walked out at the 85th minute, loser mentality. Didn't see Liverpool walking out. I think the players need to show that they deserve your loyalty at first as well. These Arsenal players, the Liverpool fans know that their team have pushed City all the way. I don't know if I can understand some Arsenal fans leaving the stadium because you're voicing your protest at the performance.
People are entitled to pay their money to do what they want at the end of the day. But my opinion is, if I was there, I want to stay to the end because the title race is still on, and I want the team to still have a good feeling from the fans going into the next game, which is going to be equally as important in a couple of days' time. You know, you can't just go into protest for every loss. Do you know what I mean? What are we expecting here? Invincible for the whole season and every single competition? It doesn't work like that. You know, we're still in this and we're still in the Champions League, so we have to still continue to be supportive, I think. As I say, it's up to those people if they choose to leave. That's their choice.
Spencer says Emery doesn't have Villa challenging for the league. They're in fourth. They're a squad. You wouldn't have thought that their squad could be. He's extracting. Here's how I'll put it. He's extracting the maximum out of that squad. Emery is to be the best of the rest. After Liverpool, Arsenal, and City, I think Unai Emery is doing a good job with Aston Villa. You know.
Yep.
Can he win the league? No, he can't win the league unless he gets better players. That's how it goes.
Add up the total value of our players versus their players.
It's all about fit for me, and for whatever reasons, you know, I didn't want Unai Emery to be changed, and I told you the reasons why at the time, and I've said it many times on this broadcast about that. I wanted to stick with a manager and not get into a managerial merry-go-round like Man United. Okay, they didn't do that. But as for me, it is always about fit, right? You know, Aston Villa is obviously a better environment and a better working environment and a fit for a personality like Unai Emery than Arsenal was, for whatever reasons. Whether that's the players, the backroom staff, and also the upper management. But I also believe, on the same token, that what Mikel Arteta is doing at Arsenal is the right fit for Arsenal for this time. I think he's the right man in the right place at the right time.
Hey, again, Stan, Gary, Tony, Lawrence, you're going to see the fan base split, and you'll see the Arteta outers voicing, pumping up their voice again, you know. So it is what it is. I would say be steadfast and see what this team can do from now till the end of the season. We're watching. We can't necessarily have more L's to finish the season, because that would be another thing that our rivals will say. Arsenal bottled it till the end of the season and couldn't win games. If we win 6 till the end and City win all 6, you have to just say that they were better than us then at the end of the season. But we'll wait. Let's play the games out and see how it goes, you know.
Well, at least we would have the satisfaction of taking 4 points off them if that did happen.
Yeah, but then again, take 4 points off City and we didn't finish above them. That has a little bit of a stink about it as well. You know, take 4 points off Liverpool and it didn't help to get over City. You know, we've been deficient in other areas of the league. We've dropped points against Fulham. We've dropped points against Villa. Now, Villa's done the double over us this season, you know. You can see why Guardiola was happy to rush Zinchenko out the door. We tripped on a hurdle. The race is still on. Exactly, BX. We need more of these kind of comments as well. You have to believe. We didn't do this for 11 months or 10 months of the season just to give up right now. So
we did it last year. We did it the year before, right?
Well, I'm tired of doing that. We don't want that. You know, Gary's feeling it today. I can see him. We're all hurting. Well, visibly, Gary's hurting. Visibly.
It might be because he was reading his Pelotron.
Gary doesn't know the meaning of her. As I said, I've been following Arsenal since 1968. So you can imagine how much.
I was born.
Can you imagine the pain I've been going through?
Yeah. Rohan said Raya was waiting for that near post finish. You do have to respect the attacker, that he may get a contact on that ball coming across the.
No, but he made that move up, I think, when he realized where the ball was coming. Right, that's why he had to come out, and he made a decision to come out, and that's what left the rest of the goal open. When he came out, he had to get there. So it's not. I think he made he made the right decision. His execution was wrong because he didn't get the ball. If he gets attached on that ball, it doesn't fall to their attacker on that side, on the other side of the pitch, on the side of the goal there, and they don't push it home. So
more than a wheelchair is in here. Wasters, absolute wasters there, throwing it all away. And we had a golden chance to take control, take initiative. Liverpool had fallen away. That was the narrative, you know what I mean? And because they had 1 point from 2 games, but we've dropped 3 points. Most champions don't win the league with these many losses. Thankfully, we still have a shot in Europe. Definitely. We need to get the next manager in line. Arteta has got us as far as he can. We need the next step up in manager now who doesn't have his favorites like City, Raya. We need someone who's been there. So how do you know if another manager comes in, he can take this project forward? Or would it go backwards? You know what I mean?
I would even go as far as to say, right, looking ahead to next season, I would even go as far as to say, as long as we didn't finish outside of the top 3, I would still want to continue with the same manager because I believe in continuity. It's if we start to backslide, right? You know, we go into next season and we finish in somewhere like 5th or 4th. Do you know what I mean? Then that's, to me, that's like you're backsliding and you're not able to keep up with the Joneses. You know, and I honestly think as well, next season, Liverpool are going to be a very different animal. Not only is it going to be the manager that's not going to be there, I think they're going to be without a few key players. You know, they're going to have to go through all of that, you know, getting manager in. Is it going to be the right manager? Are they going to go in the managerial merry-go-round? The money that they get, how they're going to invest it, are they going to get the right players? So they're going to be in a sort of a rebuilding phase, which could be an advantage to us.
100%. And to me, I think Liverpool have done amazingly well to even be in the race as far as they have been. They didn't get a premium number 6 in the summer. They went for Endo. They've been found out in the bigger games, you know, but everything I'm saying, I have to be conscious of the fact that we have the same amount of points as Liverpool do right now. So Liverpool have probably overachieved this season, and you could actually say it's we've underachieved a little bit. We've dropped points. Steven said to everyone, "It's not over, Tony. It's not over." Go ahead, Tony.
You look at Liverpool, you see how they went from 7th place to competing for the title. You see what Emery's did in his second year, but why does it take us 5 or 6 and everybody's willing and to have that when we always wanted to be there competing for the league? That was always our goal.
Yep.
But you know what? Once again, this just comes down to, Arteta is what, in his 5th year of managing, and then you're comparing him to managers with twice that, if not 3 times that managerial experience. That's
but
part of it. That's probably
the toughest league.
That is part of it. Nobody's going to tell me that you can come in 5 years managing and be able to do all the things that you're talking about.
So how long are we supposed to fucking wait, Gary?
Until he has the experience that you're talking about.
20 years, fun.
I'm just telling you, you know what? I said this from day one.
5 weeks, Tony. You have to wait 5 weeks.
I didn't want Arteta because we're going to have to wait for him to see this, to figure out how to do this.
5 weeks.
For managing, right? This is what I said, right? But the team went this way, so they want us to wait, right? They want us to see him grow and get better.
The team was always going to go this way, Gary.
No, but you know what?
Champions League format changed.
We can't comparing Arteta to anybody with 10, 15 years of experience, to me, it doesn't make any sense. That's like saying, why isn't Saka as good as Salah? He can't be, right? Salah's got almost 10 years of experience on him, you know, or whatever number of years, years on him. So you see the difference in the quality of the player. You got the same thing with a manager. If I told you Pep 5 years from managing, not like 5 years of managing total, like Pep actually managed in a system before,
let's
right?
go to today,
Before he even
Gary.
became what?
Does Villa have better players than us?
I'm telling you, it comes down to coaching and managing. That makes a big difference.
Desire.
So how
right?
long do you frickin' wait, Gary? How long do you
Are we
say,
seeing
okay,
improvement from year to year?
No, we're not.
We're not. So we haven't gotten better. So the team isn't playing better football. We're not finishing higher up in the league. We're not. Now we're competing. We're competing on two fronts now, whereas in the past we could only manage one. Right.
Ray.
So where are we not getting better?
Ray, we have this question for you.
We weren't in the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Gary is right, by the way, Tony. Gary's right.
No, he's not. No. Why are you jumping on Ray? Answer my question.
No, Ray has a question.
Tell me how worse we are this season than last season.
It goes up to my question about Ray.
No, don't talk to Ray. Talk to me. Answer my question first before you move on.
I have to go to Ray.
No. It's my question.
Ray.
I'm holding court here. So if you want to continue, you answer my question.
Gary has the gavel.
How much worse are we this season than we were last season, Tony?
Again, I have to go to Ray.
Why do you have to go to Ray? I'm not asking. Ray doesn't work for me. Ray doesn't work for me. No. You answer the question.
Can I please go to Ray?
Why would he answer my question?
Because I have to make a fucking point.
All right, Gary, let's hear him now, right?
Stan, I got a question for you. I'm going to need you to have Lawrence answer it for you. All right? What?
Right.
Let's hear what he's got, Gary. I'm interested.
Mr. Goddamn Roller Coaster.
I'll allow this.
Mr. Roller Coaster, we were like this last season. Always staying at top. This year we've been kind of going over the little small dips in the roller coaster.
Yeah.
We were a solid team last year and fell away at the end. This year we haven't been as good.
But we've let in less goals and scored more. So
yeah, we also went and spent more money, Stan, and we also used the defender that we had last year that we refused to win.
We won in the Champions League last year.
All right, so what's the question? Was I supposed to be listening?
Yeah, how does this answer my question?
We had peaks and troughs, but now we don't.
No, but again, you don't want to answer the question because you know you're wrong, which is fine. You know what? Your answer basically has answered my question. You believe we are playing much better football this year. Our successes are much better than they were last year. No team. If you looked at our team last season, would you think they'd be able to make it to the quarterfinals? You probably would say no.
How long? Yes, I did, Gary.
You said we'll be in the Champions League quarterfinals this year based on what you saw last year?
What happened 4 years ago when Spurs finished 1 point ahead of them? They went to a fucking Champions League final. Champions League finals.
Are we following their script? Are we following their script? Where's our world-class players up top? Because I remember that team, and they had 2 world-class players sitting on the front line. Where are our frontline players? They had a goalkeeper, world-class considered, right? Where is our world-class goalkeeper? We don't have that. We don't have world-class striker and a wing.
On the bench.
How many goalkeepers do we need to go through?
No, we don't have
we played the goalkeeper we used to have today.
Yeah.
We went from Leno.
You answer my question. You answer my question because you don't want to say
we're not as good, Gary.
We're not as good. We're competing in a much tougher season, in a much tougher league than we were last year.
We have a smooth roller coaster.
Nigel, meet Tony. Tony, meet Nigel. Dude should be in politics. Tony, that's you, by the way. Should be running for politics, for political. I think Rohan has a very valid point here. Not that one till City. We'll wait for that day when they face 115 charges. Rohan said last year's title was over at the beginning of April. We're still in this. We need 1 draw from City. I think that's the takeaway. Now the biggest problem is it's not in our hands. So you can banter us about that. Last weekend it was in our hands, and we've given control of it away again. we left Highbury to win more medals. You're going to hear more and more of this now in your timelines. We left Highbury to win more medals, be a top European club, and we're still not. We didn't leave to have manager learning on the job. We might as well had kept Wenger. Wenger needed to leave. It was time for Wenger to leave and move on. Everybody move on.
But the whole structure.
Hold
is
on a
different
minute.
now.
You said
You
that
get
we left
all
the
this-
Emirates. We left Highbury to be a top, European team. Well,
European
we're in the top
team.
8
We're
right now. We're in the top 8. I mean,
chance
I
for
know
the
it's not
top 4.
one.
Chance
No,
for
it's not
the
top
4.
one. Exactly. We could be soon in the top 4. Right now, we're in the top 8. I mean, that is improvement. We weren't in the top 8 last season. We weren't in the top 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see that as an improvement, right? And we're 1 point behind the leaders, the best team in the fucking universe. 2 points, sorry, best team in the universe. I mean,
Best team in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen said, Arteta, I have seen his mistakes and called for him to go.
we don't even have a striker. We've done all of that without a striker.
Yeah.
I mean, bloody hell. Come on. Give him some
Yeah,
credit.
but Stan, can you imagine what position we would have been had we got a striker this season?
Can
but we
you
didn't.
tell us, Stan, what I said?
But we didn't. That's the thing. We didn't. We can't do nothing about that now, right?
Lawrence, can you tell him what I said?
Can you imagine what would have happened if Graham Rick didn't miss that penalty?
But
yeah.
But Stan, we could have got Tielemans for free. He would
but
make
we didn't, Tony. But we didn't, Tony. How do we know that if we got Tielemans for free? How do you know he'd even be playing in today's match? How do you know it's the right environment for Tielemans to be at Arsenal? We don't know any of that. It's not plug and play.
He would be better in the midfield than Kai Havertz.
He had a good game. What? I don't know.
Use that 6 to 8 million.
What are his stats? Not that you go on bare stats, but how many goals and assists does he have?
I know I heard his name a million times today.
Do you know why? I think that's because we played Havertz in midfield. We had no control in midfield in this game.
Well, you had
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I agreed with the lineup.
I Kai at left back, Kai at right wing. He was all over the pitch.
I didn't agree with the lineup. I didn't understand why we had to change what was had apparently been working. Why all of a sudden it's like, this is your game, Gabriel. You're coming in. Why? Because he scores 100 goals against Aston Villa. Where's the evidence here? I mean, for me, you continue with what's going now. Gabriel Jesus has got himself into a place because he has injuries and has had to come off the bench. It's now up to him to come off the bench and do better than the guy that's starting in this position. He's not done that. All of a sudden, the manager's gone, right, you're starting. He's not been better than the guy that's been starting in that position at this particular moment in time. He hasn't. So I don't understand how you make your choices in that way. So, as much as I back the manager, I can still pick out certain things that I don't understand and would perhaps change. And that I don't get.
But Evan isn't even dropping Kivior worse because he's basically been there the whole season, done a good job. Then as soon as Zinchenko's healthy,
all I can think of is that the manager has made these changes out of tactical reasons. He felt that whatever it is that Zinchenko offers something that Kivior can't in certain ways. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, and but perhaps, we're going back.
Perhaps the same for Gabriel Jesus. I don't know what that is because it's obviously not goals. Because Havertz seems to be able to find the net more frequent than Jesus. So I don't know.
We're going back. We're going back to this left back situation where a team can pop a ball into our left back area and we're in trouble.
Bang in trouble.
We're persisting with Gabriel Jesus, and as Tony said, we're not scoring as many goals with Gabriel Jesus in the team. Look, we were never going to win in this top part of the season. We were never going to beat teams 5 and 6-0 like we were in February and March, but to not create very many chances with Jesus in the lineup, I'm sorry. I think Jesus might be an impediment to us if he keeps starting games up front.
Well, we've seen he was last year, and you're seeing it again this year. Same with Zinchenko at the end of the year.
Villa did a number on you guys. That's true. I mean, any team that comes in and competes is likely to get something from Arsenal.
Because Villa put 2 players on Odegaard, and that nullified our creativity. Because Odegaard didn't have a snip in the second half.
Teddy Boxing said,
does that happen if you have Jorginho or Partey playing in the midfield with Rice and Erdogan? You know what I mean? Like, those are the things. Like, when you have Havertz there, he doesn't do enough to make it. Doesn't help the midfield at all for me.
Yeah,
I agree.
And
I
so,
agree with that.
So I kind of feel like you're saying they tried to get Erdogan out. Erdogan actually didn't have that bad of a game where it looked like they were nullifying him that much significantly. It wasn't that bad.
It was in the second half.
It wasn't that bad, but it was. But we did, but in the first half we should have been up 2-3-0 at that point, right? So once again, we had opportunities, and that first half got away from us, and then the second half, as it got later and later, it was anybody's game. We just happened to be on the wrong end of it, right? So this isn't like, once again, this is not a relegation team, right? It's a team sitting in the top 4. They played well all season. Everybody said this, so it's not a surprise that they could come out and do this. But as Arsenal team sitting second in the league, you cannot lose the games. So you got to do all you can, and we didn't do all we could to get the win. So
Rohan pointed out to all-conquering City. I mean, that's what they did last season. They took all 3 trophies, but they're still just 2 points ahead of us. I think City have suffered a little bit this season, and they're still 2 points ahead of us in the league and same position in the Champions League, and we're not better. I think we're a better team. I think on the day we can beat City consistently, but we're not consistent against the other teams. And that's the issue that Arsenal are facing this season, consistency against the other teams. When City and Liverpool can go and win those games more consistently than us, we have plenty of chance.
You played a Villa team that hadn't been playing that well lately, and you lost.
Yeah. I honestly thought, Tony,
so sitting 4th in the league is not playing well.
Well,
they have not been doing as good lately.
So is 4th in the league not playing well is the question.
Here we go.
Round 1.
Get your popcorn ready.
No, I'm just asking. Like, what?
All I can say is, right, if Gary had been questioned, right, AJ would never have got off. We wouldn't have happened.
I think anybody, if anybody with a semblance of,
he would have said OJ to the chair.
Ryan said,
can I ask a serious question? All right.
As long as it's not about Ramsdale, yes.
No, okay. No, it's nothing to do about him. Do you think it's got something to do about TV companies playing these games at different times? Like if all 3 teams were playing at the same time,
of course,
there wouldn't be so much pressure on them.
Of course.
Because they wouldn't know what the other teams were doing.
It's bound to have an impact on you. You know what Liverpool have done. You saw what City did yesterday. And playing third, it happened to Liverpool last weekend when they drew at United. Playing third after they have had points in the bag, it makes a difference, I think.
May I say that I think that one of the problems that Arsenal has, I think, and it's a fundamental problem is, and until it changes, it's going to continue to be a problem, is that we're in a situation, Tony, I've not even started. I've not even said what it is yet. Well, you're a mind reader. So listen,
he's ready
right,
to go.
The fundamental problem is that we find ourselves in a situation where Mikel Arteta looks to the bench and is having to play what I would consider third string players in a proper team. they're third string players. He's having to play them as second string. In a perfect world, right, during the week, if I was the manager up during the week, right, I'd be looking at my first team and those that are competing. And that player, for example, that's competing for the right-hand side of the midfield in Saka's space, maybe you get 1 week where you think to yourself, you know what? You're actually better this week. What I'm seeing from you has been better from what I've seen of Saka. Therefore, I'm going to reward you with that and give you a start. And now it's up to that player to come in and do something to make sure that he keeps Saka on the bench next week. It's up to Saka now to look at that and think to himself, well, next week, in the lead up to next week's game, I need to make sure that I'm better than this guy next week so that I get it again. And the problem is, a player like Reece Nelson, even if Saka comes into work with a hangover or a head cold, Nelson's never going to be better than Saka because he's third string.
Yeah.
And until we get away from that situation and have a second string that are competitive with the first team and can put the manager into those situations where he has to start rewarding them because of their efforts, then we're going to have situations like this. And the substitutions that we make are always going to seem odd and a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say what Rohan has said, that, you know, you have a Liverpool team where Mo Salah has to play, but the other parts can be interchangeable.
But I'm using Saka as an example. Maybe I should have said Martinelli. But you know what? You know where I'm coming from when it comes to sometimes rotation or rewarding a player. Like for example, at Man City, they're in a situation where Doku is obviously doing something where now Guardiola is beginning to reward him with minutes ahead of a Jack Grealish. I use that as an example.
Yeah.
And it's competitive when it happens. We're not in that situation.
He's keeping Grealish fresh. Yeah. He's keeping Grealish fresh, and Grealish holds onto the ball and carries the ball to. He's going to need Grealish for that Real Madrid game to get over the line against Real Madrid in the week, during the midweek. Every team has a talisman. Salah doesn't get benched, and the same with Saka. Every other player gets changed. I thought we had some of that with Martinelli and Jesus and Havertz and Trossard, but at times when we don't score,
which one is out of those that you've named? There's no one that's clear, is there? There's one. Who's the one that you say that one's clear? Yeah, he's clear, and then maybe you got this one who's hot on the heels. It ain't like that. It's basically put them all in the bag. It's like put all of those you just named, put them in the bag, and then dip your hand in without looking and pull one out.
Right. Well, who would you say? I would go with Havertz. I would go with Havertz as being the next most consistent.
Well, he's clear. He's really clear.
No, Havertz is no. See, this is the thing. We're doing it again. You're trying to compare Saka to Salah, and to me, it's not really. It's not a good. It's not
comparing directly.
No. But we're saying that he's our talisman, but he's not such that. Guess what? Like maybe because our levels are lower than Liverpool.
He's only a few goals behind Gary.
He is not Salah. Let's not get it twisted.
He's like 3 goals behind them.
It doesn't. He is not.
He
Salah.
should be better, Gary.
He should be better than a world-class striker. He's not there.
We're not saying he's Salah.
Winger. So for me, no, he's not there yet. So we're comparing players.
We're just saying he's clear of the rest.
No, I know that's the problem. And as Stan said, we need much better, right? We always talked about this. We can't. That's why when people said bring in a striker, is Tony better than what Jesus gives us? And it's not clear as day. It's not clear as day. Not that, because what we asked for Jesus and what we asked for Tony, totally different requirements, right? So they're not clear in that sense to me, anyways. So I kind of feel like that's the thing. These players aren't there yet, and they don't have to be. I mean, the man's just turned 22 this year. He is not at Messi level. So it's not like we're talking about a player who is young and will be Messi level. He's not there. He's not that. So we're trying to compare him to players like that, but he isn't. He's not world class, right? And so that's the problem. We need much better. Like the fact that we still have Cedric on our bench, we still have El Neni on our bench, and Kedia on our bench, Nelson on our bench. Players, no, No, not when we're trying to compete with all these teams in the league and the championship. It's not working because we whenever Arteta turns to his bench, yes, he sees nothing to answer the call, right? Even Martinelli doesn't answer it because he's not up there either. He's not even up there with Saka. So you know what I mean? So we're still behind in terms of what we need to do
basically,
to compete.
you have to go in FIFA and pick all the best players to be able to fucking win. That's not how football works, Gary.
I just said we
just,
need better than what we.
just
I'm
like
saying we need
earlier,
better than what we got. I just named you 5 players that we can find better than them, probably in our academy,
Exactly. It's
if we
called
really wanted
upgrading.
to.
yeah, but
Upgrading.
we never go to academy, Gary. So
But
it's
that's
a
the
moot
problem.
point.
So the problem isn't
Then
our
get
starters.
another manager.
They don't want to, so we have to deal with this,
Arteta's
right?
not to go to the youth.
6-4.
He's not went to the academy.
He has
any
done.
of you has Arsenal went to the academy?
But is there anyone in the academy that's going to get us a couple of more points so that we're ahead of Man City?
There's got to be somebody, Stan.
Who then? Name them. Tell me who they are.
It just doesn't matter. Or it's somebody just to get a few games off for Saka. These guys need rest eventually. And that's what you've seen today. You've seen a wore-out team that got totally dominated.
I'll give you this. Tony. Sometimes when I'm at work, right, and maybe there's a problem in the way that the company is in its operation of the company, and I see it, and I'm like, okay, this needs to be changed, or this isn't working. I can't just go to the owner of the company and just say, I found this part in the way that this company works. It's fucking shit. We need to find another way. Because his next question to me is going to be then, do you have any suggestions? Yeah, so before I go to him, I need to have some answers.
A plan.
I can't just tell him. I can't just tell him it's shit. I need to tell him this is shit. However, why don't we try doing it like this? And maybe it would. Do you know what I mean? So where's your answer?
He already sold the player that can show you that he's better than Kedia. He sold him for £40 million and never played a minute of first team football for us.
You know what? That's because that was a money decision. So they had to take it. Is it all about the money that they're going to get from a player, or is it about?
There's no one in the academy, Tony, that's going to get us over the line. There isn't.
No,
I think we don't have a Wayne Rooney hidden away in the academy. We don't.
Yeah, but can you play 13 players all season in every competition?
It's been more than 13, Tony. Come on.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has. 15, 16, at least. Rohan, I would argue that Martinelli has had an underwhelming season. It's been blighted by some injuries, but they have only 6 goals.
The fact that Rice isn't even in that top, is that attackers? Is that what that is?
That's Rohan's right now, but I don't think that Martinelli is in the top.
Is that attackers or is that
no?
Is that players?
No, that's Rohan's 3. But
top 3. So Rice isn't in our top 3.
Goal scorers.
Oh.
So Trossard, you're looking at your forwards, Gary. Who would be your top
2 forwards? Two of those are very streaky, aren't they? I think Havertz and Martinelli for me are the 2. Those 2 areas, they're not up to scratch with Saka. They're not as reliable. They're not as when they get on the ball, you don't sort of like sit up and they seem a bit streaky. And don't get me wrong, I love Martinelli, and we know that he can do some things, but for whatever reason this season, he's looked streaky.
He's not delivered this season, you know.
And Ray,
I go with Colin Morikawa. I think will win the Masters. Yeah, Tony.
This is what I said earlier, right? Those 2 players in what Rohan put up there from that 3, you switch out Havertz and Martinelli for any of the others in that position in Man City and Liverpool, and you put them in, then we're smashing it. That's you see that highlights the weakness that we have. They're not dependable, those 2 players. As much as I like both of them, they're not, dependable. Like when you get when Saka gets the ball, you really think something could really happen here. It's not like that so much with the other 2.
I think at the moment. Yeah, and I think our best front 3 this season has been Bukayo Saka, of course, Havertz as the 9, and I would go with Trossard on the left. They have been probably the most prolific of all of our forwards. Tony Turner being controversial. of course.
You really like for me. I don't like Trossard starting for me. Is that really? Have we really been that good with Trossard starting?
Yes.
No.
It's mad, isn't it? He used to start every week at Brighton. He wasn't off the.
No, I know and I've been saying this since day one. Arteta has not figured out how to get. He hasn't figured out how to get Trossard to start a game and be consistent.
It's because he's not consistently played, Gary. To be a striker, to be an attacker, you need a run of games.
I keep saying Trossard is an impact player. He's dangerous when he comes off the bench. He cannot do it for 90 minutes.
Do you remember when he was playing instead of Jesus last season? He was playing for a period of time then, wasn't he? In starting games, wasn't he doing all right?
March, April.
That's when we started scoring 4 or 5 goals a game last year.
He's right. I'm on the Tony train when it comes to Jesus.
And the same thing happened this year.
Yeah.
What happened when Trossard started getting in the squad this season, right?
I was hoping you were wrong, Tony, but the crayons, Arteta's got a crayon set of 12 or 13.
But what happened 6 to 8 weeks ago when Trossard got into the team?
Just tell me. Don't be riddling me all the time.
We started winning 5 and 4-0. Now you have Zinchenko in there, so your defense is leaky.
Riddle me this.
You don't have your most clinical.
I agree. Tony. We're winning games. We're winning games 4-1, 5-0, 6-0. But things tighten up in April and May. But we're not. It shouldn't be tightening up this much. You know what I mean?
What does a striker need, Ray?
Service.
They need a string of starts.
Oh, okay, I get the wrong answer. Okay.
Yeah, right.
He needs wages. Strikers need wages as well. The McConaughey said Arteta has bottled a top 4 and 2 title races in the last 3 years. It's time. If you don't say this, you ain't an Arsenal fan. Sorry, just wanted to say it. It's fine to say it.
You know what? Coming into this season, I'll say this for everybody, and I'll say it again. Coming into this season, I thought this would be a successful season if we do at least the following: if we finish in the top 3, if we make it out of the group stages, and if we compete for one of the domestic cups. Because there is no way, and we see it time and time again, and I believe this is true, that you can compete for all 4 of those titles unless you can win a big trophy. If you cannot compete for those 4 titles, those 4 trophies, it's really a big challenge to just go out there and win a big one.
I raised my hand about this
earlier. Because if you look at the teams that we're competing with, they've all, like, Liverpool's already won one of those domestic cups, right? City is still in for another domestic cup and is challenging still for the 2 biggest trophies. Liverpool is still in there for the big, the domestic trophy, and they, with one good game at wherever they're playing, they can still continue on and get a European trophy, right? So Arsenal, the 2 domestic cups, bang bang out. Now we're asking Arteta to try to depend on players that weren't good enough to see it through in the domestic cups, and I think that shows, like, as a team, as a squad, that's why we struggle at this point in the season, because now he's got to try to depend on players he has never had to, and that's a problem, right?
Shouldn't you be doing better though? Because you have City that's played 10 more games than us, Liverpool that's played 8 more games than us
in the season.
So yes, because they doing stuff in the domestic, and they went to the world and everything else there.
Yep. And I just told you need a big squad. You need a big squad to be able to win the big trophies. It's been proven time and time again. It's very few times.
Well, you have Arteta.
It's very few times, Tony. Yeah. Very few times when you get a Leicester,
look at Liverpool,
where a team that doesn't have anything else to really play for and is able to pull it through. It hasn't happened. Yeah. Look at all the trophies that win. Any teams that win the Premier League. Tell me where they did not have opportunities to win other trophies. They all do, because guess what? They have to be that deep. Right? We're not that deep. We're still, we still have holes to fill, and that's why we don't. That's why when you see us get knocked out of all these other cups, then when we want to depend on these players, we can't, because they haven't been playing.
Do you know what the problem is, Gary? Arteta's goalie locks. he said we had too many players. Then he said we didn't have enough players. Then he said he didn't have enough players again. And guess who signs and hires the players? It's Arteta. Arteta could have picked different players. Like I said, he could have went and got Tielemans on a free, and you could have got you a good striker.
We did not lose today because of Tielemans. Stop with that. Come on, Tony. Tony, no. Come on, stop with all the nonsense. We didn't lose today
was one of the best players on the pitch today.
Are you kidding me? Seriously, Tony.
He had a good game.
Why we lost today?
He had a good game. Wasn't the reason why we lost. He had a good game today.
Come on, come on. You've got Partey and Jorginho.
There's a two-parter of this.
This is the reason why we lost.
I want to address a couple of things, and then we'll bring Rohan in.
Can I tell why Gary isn't listening yet?
We didn't bottle the league.
We're listening.
Yet.
You're just talking nonsense once again.
You don't bottle leagues. You lose. You don't win them.
But do you put Tielemans in your midfield, or do you put Kai Havertz in your midfield? That's the two choices. Because that's what
you have Partey and Jorginho. If you really put somebody in your midfield, Tony.
Wait, listen. If you look at the three teams at the top of the table, right? You look at us, Man City, and Liverpool, and you look at the teams, the team rating of each player over a spread of 10 games. One of those teams will have maybe 3 players that at some point will have maybe 4 matches out of the 10 games that will be a rating below a 7. They'll get like a 6.6, a 6.5, 6.7. And you can't win the league if you've got that. And that's where we are at the moment. We have players that out of 10 games, there may be 3, maybe 4, that over that, they will get below a 7. The other teams don't. And that's what gets you over the line.
Who other teams stand?
Manchester City and Liverpool.
But Liverpool are at the same points as us and are actually third in the league, and City are 2 points ahead of us. It's not like they're.
I don't believe that. I believe that if you look at the players over a 10 game period, we will have more players that will have a game rating below 7. And you won't just be like one player or 2 players.
Over a 32 game period. They are 2 points ahead.
Or over 10 games, will have it more than maybe 3 or 4 of their games. That's
then
not good enough.
Should say that City should be much more ahead of us, but they're not. Then is Guardiola that bad, or is Mikel Arteta that good? What is?
Well, we'll see at the end of the season, because they've got more to draw from. They've got better quality to draw from.
But this is well established, and to Tony's point, this is well established and accepted throughout the. Throughout the Premier League, that Pep makes the least number of changes, least number of in-game substitutions, least number of players that he uses in the squad. He's got 15 players, 16 players that are really good. We've not got the quality of that, but I don't think that we should be piling on this train of just because we've lost today. And I know that everybody's got it, and everybody comes from a good place, but the fact that we're 2 points behind, and we're still in this, we're pretending as if it's over. And last season it was over in the beginning of April. We had no chance. Are we saying that City can draw one game from? Today is evidence to say that any team can lose or draw at any point. They've got to go to Spurs, where they don't have a great record. They didn't score a goal at Spurs for 5 years. After all of that, we're just like, I think we're piling on a little bit.
We're piling on because what we've seen today, Rohan, is a continuation of the Bayern game and the mistakes we made in the Bayern game. So
we played well in the first half. We were playing really good football. I don't think that we played badly.
0-0, Rohan.
Yeah, exactly. Then Arteta can't affect it, and Arteta can't affect it and ask them to score. For some reason, it didn't go well in the second half, and that's when I felt like we should have had more on the bench. If it was for me, Jesus and Trossard need to be on the bench because they play better as substitutes. With Jesus playing with his, with all of his technique and running around players when they're a little bit
so Rohan,
tired.
You would have played our midfielders on the bench. You would have played one of them.
I would have played Jorginho today, but that's in hindsight. But we did well enough in the first half for it not to go to the second half.
We had one clear cut,
at least in the first half.
Well, we had one clear cut opportunity.
No, one clear cut because that was right in front of goal, which Trossard missed. But we had plenty of opportunities where one final pass, one final decision could have led to a goal. We were in behind many times. There were many half chances that we had that we didn't make. Many times we crossed the ball wrong or we just didn't have the right timing. But we were getting in behind. It's not as if we were playing in front of them and there was nothing being created. It wasn't that sort of a game.
Yeah.
I feel like what happened was that once we didn't score in the first half, then Arteta didn't have any options on the bench, and I think he was banking on the fact that our team would do it in the first half, or it would have enough in the tank to do it by the 60th minute, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
that's you're telling me that
he didn't have any options.
If Arteta was going to try to score in the first half, then Havertz in the midfield for me is a. That's not a good lineup. Not at all. Not at all.
Didn't we play well enough to score in the first half? A couple of goals?
But what I'm saying is, I want to put our players in better positions to do what you're saying. And if that's the case, then I either need to solidify. Like the whole point coming into this game was Douglas Luiz is out. We should be able to control the midfield and make things easier for ourselves. It didn't seem to make it much of a difference, right? And Havertz playing in a position which I think is his worst position for us doesn't really help us as much. Hinders us, right? So either you solidify the midfield better, you put either Havertz up top or you sit him. You take your choice there, right? That's kind of what I think we should have done. I would have liked to have seen like Martinelli maybe get a start. Trossard, especially if you're saying Trossard is better off the bench, but I think for me that's one play. Zinchenko isn't for me. Nah, it doesn't. He doesn't help as much as you think he. For me, anyways. On the attack, so
I agree. In hindsight, at the beginning of the game and until halftime, I don't think anybody was saying that we were going to lose that game.
The game was lost to halftime.
Hold on, Tony. You said yourself, Rohan, that Mikel Arteta didn't have any options from the bench. And that's going to continue. It's not magically going to change between now and the end of the season. And that's why I'm saying, as much as we are still in it, that's the area that's really going to hurt us because the players that we have on the bench, they're third string at best.
I'll respond to you, Stan. It's not because we didn't have players to put on the bench. It's the bench players that he put on in the first 11. If he would have played, Trossard, if he would have played Martinelli, Havertz up top, Saka in midfield, Jorginho and Rice and Odegaard, then he would have still had Trossard and Jesus to come on, but he didn't have that.
So you're saying the manager got it wrong then today?
Who horned them? He didn't pick correctly, but whatever he did,
the manager got it wrong.
He got it. In hindsight, he got it wrong, but I did not think that he got it wrong when the game started. Now, I don't want to be a hindsight merchant and say now that he got it wrong then, but probably he got it wrong because they didn't score in the first half, but they had enough chances to score in the first half. If our players had scored in the first half 2 goals, which they easily could have, were we going to say the same thing that he got it wrong?
But one question,
the narrative would have changed. Ray, one second. The narrative would have changed, and we would have said that he's given valuable minutes to players who weren't getting minutes, like Trossard and Jesus, and he's got them ready for Bayern. Our narrative changes based on the results that we get.
Coming into the game, I didn't like Havertz in the midfield. I didn't like Zinchenko on the back line. It's never changed. It'll never change. So. Just remember that, because the next time you see it again, I'll be saying the exact same thing.
Hold on, Tony.
We see the same thing every time. So for me, it's consistent. Havertz in the midfield is not good for us.
Rohan,
the back line is not good for us. We have answers. Tomiyasu could have started. And then if he couldn't play a full game, you could have brought Zinchenko in later. You had Kyrgios who could also play there. So we have two players that can play there, and I think play a little bit better defensively than what Zinchenko offers us. And with that front nine that they had, it wasn't a poor one. So we'd be more solid on the back coming into that second half. I don't think it would have looked as bad because defensively we would have been solid, a lot solid than we were. All right. He doesn't offer that. He's not asked to do that, and that's a problem I think for us. I get the hindsight and all that, but this is something at least I've been calling for since I saw Havertz in the midfield. It's just not a positive. Zinchenko trying to play as a left back has not been good all season for us.
He's not trying to play as a left back.
I have to echo what Gary and Stan have said as well, Rohan. At the start of the day, when you see Zinchenko in the lineup, that cannot inspire confidence for you. Albeit we played well in the first half. And what was the plan? What was the plan for Bayern then with this lineup? Tomiyasu was always going to play at some point, right?
Yeah.
Why not start with Tomiyasu?
Those were the two things that he did get wrong. Now that's why in the comments also I said that I don't want to see Zinchenko playing or at least starting for the rest of the season, because the last time on Thursday when I was in, I said that except for Spurs and United away, Zinchenko could have played everything. Or he may not have been directly involved with the goal, but today I've seen that he tries a bit much. There was a time when he tried to nutmeg Tielemans and then he got the shot away and hit both the post and the bar, right? And that's just unnecessary. And when he's playing, I feel like the defense is a little bit nervous. When Kivior or Tomiyasu are playing, they're not that nervous. Okay, fine. Then take him out. That's lesson learned. But these two players playing Havertz in midfield or Zinchenko there doesn't mean that we shouldn't have killed the game off in the first half. We had enough potential. We were playing really good football, as good as we could have been playing. We were playing that without putting the ball in.
I don't think our XG would have been high at halftime.
Because the last pass was missing.
Yeah.
Here's my question about Zinchenko. Here's my question about Zinchenko. If the reason that we're willing to sacrifice a left back, defensive left back, is because he's so good at what he does coming into the midfield, then why is it that when there's been games where, for example, we've had someone else at left back and Zinchenko has sat on the bench, why has he never come on in the midfield? Why has he never been substituted on for any one of those three midfield positions if he's so good in midfield? I don't understand what it is that he's actually bringing to the team, because Mikel Arteta never wants to go there or actually play him in midfield, but we're willing to sacrifice a defensive part at the left back position because he's so good coming into the midfield. It doesn't compute or make any sense to me.
Today he was playing as a midfielder.
Well, I think
abandoned the left back.
Today he did it, I think, Stan, because I would allow Havertz the license to run from deep, and we saw one of those.
And it was working in the first half. Havertz being that.
Why has he never come off the bench for a midfielder ever? Why has he never been substituted on for a midfielder? Never. It's never happened, has it? He's never come on in the midfield and taken someone else out and put him on in the three positions in midfield that are available that play different roles. He's never come on for any one of those. He's not come on in the attacking role.
This is a player
as a left
maybe Zinchenko. Maybe the use of Zinchenko is holding.
You know why he's never come on in any of them? Do you know the real reason why? I do know the real reason why. It's because he's fucking shit. That's why.
Can I ask everyone a question? I want to ask everyone a question, right?
Yeah.
If we end up bottling it again this season, we get knocked out of the Champions.
Yeah. What? Losing the league.
I agree with saying that
if we lose to Man City in the league title race and Bayern knocks us out of the Champions League, do you think it's time that Arteta leaves and we bring someone else in as manager?
No,
we're this close. Why would we let go? Do you think that anybody else was going to do a better job than Arteta right now?
No. He's been at the club for 5 years now.
I will I will change my mind if we lose 2 of the next 6 league games. If we lose 2 of them, and we'll have lost 3 in the run-in.
He is so entrenched into this club, like the way that this club is like a mirror image of Mikel Arteta. He really has built this club into his own image, and taking him out now, it would mean having to like basically take a pickaxe to that or a sledgehammer,
A lot of no's there, Lawrence.
Smash it all down. It's like building a sculpture and start again from the very beginning. And we're too invested in this program right now. We're too invested. There's a reason why the owners are willing to overdraw against TV rights and pull levers so that we've got more money for next season. It's because they believe in the manager. He's the project.
Because of a new Champions League format, that's why they're spending the money.
Mikel Arteta is the project in the eyes of the owners. He always has been.
It's absolutely correct. We're playing against, a City team, or they were saying on Sky today, right? Yeah. The run that we've been on since New Year's, in any other league, we would have been like 6 to 8 points ahead.
Surging, yeah.
And why are we saying that we bottled it? We were 5 points behind Liverpool. And now we are in the same points. If anything, then Liverpool have bottled it, right? We have. I don't think with the team that we have any right to be in that conversation. But we've been in that conversation for the past 2 years. I don't know if it's more painful. I heard, Lawrence, that you've supported the team since '68, so you've seen the good and the bad. I started supporting the team during the Invincible. So imagine and that was the only joy that I got. And since then, it's been pain all through. So I don't know who's faced more pain. Right? Like there was a.
Believe you me, I've seen a lot of.
On my Twitter,
believe you me, I've seen a lot of pain. I mean, I've seen good times. I've seen the good times. I've seen us win the double in 71 and 98 and 2002, but I've also experienced pain. I've seen us get knocked out of the League Cup by a 3rd division team called Walsall. I've seen us get knocked out of the League Cup by a team called Tranmere Rovers. I've seen us get knocked out of a European competition by a part-time Belgian team called Winterslag. I don't know if anyone else remembers that. In 1981. So I've experienced a lot of pain watching Arsenal, believe you me.
Yeah, and why do we do? I started supporting Arsenal, like I barely even knew football, right? Like then since then I've just seen us not even compete, and I would have given an arm and a leg to see us in this position. We've had joy for 10 months now, or rather for 8 months now since August. And just because we've lost this one game now, or we are 2 points behind, we are throwing all our toys out of the pram. It doesn't work like that.
Do you know why it is, Rohan?
4 seasons ago, we would have said that we just want to be competing and we want to be in there. Nobody has like BG said, right? Nobody has the right to win the league. We just need to be in that conversation to be there for the league. Right, and we are there.
You know what? Do you know what it is, Rohan? It's Manchester City and the levels that they have extracted from Liverpool to be there, and now they're extracting from us to be there. It's standard that we had it in our own hands, and we were thinking there's 7 games here to go, and we need to win each and every one of them because of City, and what City do to teams. We were hoping to put some pressure on City today.
On Thursday, I said that we were third favorite already on Thursday. So today it doesn't change that much. It hurts because we played really well in the first half to get that to get that lead and put that game to bed, right? Because I feel like we've got more difficult games to come. But that doesn't mean that we can't win those games, and that doesn't mean that City can't draw an odd game. Right, it can happen, right? And even if that does not happen, the last 2 seasons, so last season and this season, the joy that I have got from watching Arsenal, I wouldn't take that away just because at the end of it we didn't make it. Taking Arteta out at this moment is not going to give us anything good.
Yeah. for sure. Why don't throw the baby out with the bathwater? I think you said that as well on Thursday night, Rohan, or somebody did say that. We're gonna wrap. We have a few more minutes to go, but we should be.
Did you change your target, Ray?
Wheels down a little bit.
I thought you had 92 points. Not 90.
I had it at 90. Now guess what, Tony? We cannot make 90 now. We can make 89. That's the best we can do, and we have to hope that 89 will see Man City dropping a point or two here as well.
But shouldn't they be dropping it since they've played extra 10 games?
What's that?
We just went over this, Tony. I'm telling you, having extra games isn't a negative as much as you think when you're playing against City and Liverpool.
You
when
got
they're at their
tired
peak,
players.
they're deep. They are deep teams. This is the problem. We're trying to compare apples to oranges. We're not that deep. We're not pulling off. We're not bringing on a Guardiola at 80 mil. When we're struggling on our back line, we don't have a player like that off the bench. We don't have a Grealish at 100 mil coming off the bench or sitting on the bench, and we're okay with it.
We don't have 115 charges also.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. We don't have a KDB who, when healthy and can play and give you 30 minutes, is like guaranteed a GA every time he seems to play. Right? We don't have so we are not as deep as City. We have to play perfect football. We need to go 7-0 this season to get this everything. Now we have to hope again for somebody to drop points. We're not that deep, Tony.
You're skipping what the difference was today.
And Milsufro are not guaranteeing us goal opportunities when they come on the pitch. It's not
the difference today was what Emery did at halftime. He said,
brought on Bailey, who was a starter for this team years ago, right? He brought on Bailey. Who are we bringing on as a starter, as an attacker today? We didn't have anybody.
We had Martinelli.
Sorry. Yep, you're right. We had Martinelli coming off an injury. He still can't start for us. But
and whose problem's that?
I think somebody mentioned.
That's because we don't have the depth, Tony.
He spent $68 million on a luxury signing.
No problem it is, Tony. It's our problem because we're in this together.
Tony, people complain about Mikel Arteta and the job that he's done in 4 years. Well, we've had to transform, as I said before, a team that had Mustafi. We had various
starting.
But we had 4 players and we were getting tunes out of them with Wenger.
Tony, we're in a title race. Tony, we're in a title race now. We were not in a title race with Wenger 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
But what happened, Ray? What happened today? Emery made the tactical changes to double team Odegaard, and he did absolutely nothing in the second half. Nothing.
Yeah, he got it right today, but he hasn't got it right so much so that he is 2 points, behind the best team in the world, or else he would be, right? It's just, you know what I'm saying, Tone?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What did he do 2 weeks ago when he played against City? He played a shambolic, embarrassing third string team to get pounded 4-1, and then he puts on like this his first team, which is great. He's entitled to do that against us. And give us 2 goals on the counter, right?
I was trying to
explain. Buried his team in the first half, and the players who were on the pitch didn't do that. They had an off day, but these players have made me proud throughout the season, and I'm not going to, turn on them and the manager just because they've had one off day.
Yeah,
I was trying to. Can I explain to Gary what I was originally going to?
Tony, the difference between Unai Emery with Aston Villa and Arteta at Arsenal are 10 points plus. That's the difference.
Yeah, because they've been on bad form. They had.
And whose fault is that?
Lost 1 and won 1.
Well, whose fault is that? Yeah.
So we had bad form today, so it's equal, right? They're 10 game out of form or 1 game out of form.
You have one team's worth with their players. What the player value is 1.14 billion.
That means nothing, Tony.
The other one, 648 million euros.
How much is Chelsea's team worth? It's worth a lot of money. Is it guarantee you anything? Guarantees you nothing. worth of a player means absolutely nothing.
All right,
100 mil for Grealish
how much
doesn't mean anything to City. They don't care. They don't even play him.
He's in the chat box.
Value means nothing.
How much is Chelsea's team worth? You can tell us.
Yeah, this Zigger Zagger, London's blue, right?
That's how much Chelsea's team is worth.
Zigger Zagger. As Tanner said, well, he fears the title race is gone, though. It's because it's out of our control. You feel that way now, Tanner, but things can change quickly.
You know what? And this is the thing, though. That's why I'm saying we can't be looking too far forward. You got to look to the next game. We win our next game, and we keep winning our next game to the rest of this season. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. Because this has been a crazy today. Every team on the road lost. All the home teams today lost, right? Liverpool,
West Ham.
Oh, sorry, West Ham and Arsenal all lost today.
Madrid.
You know, it happens. You know,
crazy.
So
it's okay.
But West Ham on in the title. But West Ham on in the title race.
It doesn't matter.
Liverpool are, and they've got the
Premier League
going on, in his last season, and everybody is galvanized. So what did they do? They did fuck all, right? Like that's what happened. Sorry,
the Chronicle.
Yes, it's like, but at the end of it, at the end of it, it's fine. We've got to learn from this. The next weekend, and I know Gary doesn't want to talk about the next weekend, but after Bayern, next weekend.
No, Rohan. No.
City aren't playing. City aren't playing the next
weekend. Man, I'm sorry.
Gary has a lot of trigger. Gary has a lot of trigger.
The reason why I'm going to next weekend is because City aren't playing. We can go top of the league again.
We'll worry about that on Thursday, okay?
We haven't even mentioned Teabag.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Our team cannot look that far in the future. We're not that experienced in this whole thing. We have to play the next 90 minutes like it's our last, because that's what it is. Every 90 minutes we play from here on out, since basically we've been on this run, we played it like today. We did not look like we played it. It was the last 90 minutes we had. But we need to play the next 90 minutes like it's our last 90. Because you know what? Nothing is guaranteed. We're not guaranteed the Premier League if we win against Wolves. We're not guaranteed to win the Champions League, but we can lose it. We can definitely lose it if we don't play well on Wednesday.
You have to go and take these things.
So I say you play each game because nobody guarantees you a trophy. You don't know which one you're going to get, so you got to play like all of them matter. And so that's why for me, I'm just looking for Wednesday.
Today, I think we were under pressure because we played after City. Next weekend, City don't play next weekend, and they play after that. So we would have played 2 more matches. Yeah, if you think that's the reason why we played the way we did, that's why I'm saying we're still not there yet as a squad. Because if we like what happened in the morning, if that affects you and how you play in the after and later on, then that means we're still not there yet. We're not that level there where you know what, somebody throws you a rope and you pull it and you take it all. You know, it's almost like the ball falls to you like it did to Watkins today. He took his chance, right? Hits the posts, right? Those are the things that happen. So for me, that's why I'm saying, you know what? Yeah. I'm reminded of what Stan says. If an alien comes down, you want to explain football to him. Well, the objective of the game is to score more goals than the other team and stop that team from scoring against you. We didn't take our chances today, and they did. And that's what football is all about. But we get another chance. We get another chance to redeem ourselves, but it is getting close to the end here. The Chronicle said no one's arguing. He's actually asking if Arteta's taking the club as far as he can go. But I think there's a couple of suspect positions in our squad that we need to address. Left back and then number 9 as well. And we need more clarification on who those players are going to be.
We have the answer. PVR, right? PVR worked. And the answer stands question.
We aren't even allowed to talk about the next weekend, man. How are we talking about the summer?
I've been trying to tell Tony to talk about it now forever. Rohan, Tony lives in the past, and then once in a while he'll jump to the future, but most of the past.
Right.
What's up?
Gary, you know what they say about guarantees? There are 3 guarantees in life. You're born, you die, and you pay taxes. And anyone that gives you a guarantee on anything else, you run as far away from them as you can.
Hey, you know what? That's why I got DWTT as my mantra, man. Don't waste a trip. You never know which one of these games is the one that gets you to the trophy. You never know. So that's why you got to play it like that is the one. Like the next game is the one that gets us a trophy. And then the one after that will get us to a trophy. And guess what? The one after that will get us a trophy. You just play one in a game at a time, every 90 minutes, man. 90-minute test. We got to pass the next one.
Chelsea's players are worth 928 million euros. Like I said, we're 1.12 billion euros.
Okay.
Stan asked a question.
Good to know. Look, we'll get out of here. It's time. We've had enough therapy, I think. Right? I'm just fearful of having numbers like the bottom line there on that banner right here. Three draws.
We're starting to show Brownie's address again.
3 draws, 3 losses, and 3 wins will not do it. You know. Rohan, thanks for jumping in late. Lawrence, Stan, Tony, Gary, thanks for being here as well. Yeah, it's been a bad day at the office. If you're an Arsenal fan, it's out of our hands but things can change very quickly. All right, we're out of here unless anyone's got to say goodbye, everybody. Good night,
Chelsea
Sam.
are fucking shit.
I know they are.
Congratulations to Wrexham. Congratulations to Wrexham, by the way.
Over 200
Gary,
million.
I'm with you now, Gary.
Do me a
The
favor.
next game is the most important, Gary.
Absolutely nothing.
3, 2, 1. Come on, you guys.
Don't even get me started on Lukaku. What a waste of fucking money that was. Do me a favour. Having a laugh.
I haven't ended it just yet, but you got a moment for a soundbite. 5 seconds, Stan. Tony.